going to try to start a new positive trend, which is the weekly Tranquility hour, where we will work on workbooks or whatever we want to work on. So I have a worksheet that if you don't quite know what you want to do, you can do this. Otherwise, let me update the. I can't update the thing. Let me put it in the chat here. So therapistaid.com is a really great. Hey Cami, is a really great website. Has a lot of worksheets for all kinds of things. We're going to start this probably different every single time until you kind of find our pattern. But yeah. So if you want to work on that worksheet, it's on coping, and how we get through difficult situations. It's always easier to think about how we should deal with things when we're calm than when we're inflamed. So I'm gonna light a candle to start the sesh, and then I'm gonna burn a little bit of sage, a little bit of Palo Santo, just to clear the space. You don't have to do anything like this if you don't want to. You're not into that. And then I'm going to work on some workbooks that I've been meaning to work on. And you can work on any workbooks that you might have, or you can do the worksheet that I linked. So this is a little bit of sage and rosemary, just nice cleansing of the space. And then this is Palo Santo, just a little piece of wood. It just has a really like burnt aroma, but like just is very cleansing, and I have it on a shell. So if you have any books or things that you would like to work on, this is the space to do it if you would like. You do not have to share anything that you don't want to share. Maybe at the end, if you want, you can say what you worked on. If you don't want to, you don't have to. That's fine. I'm gonna find the covers covered in like spilled coffee that I never cleaned up, and it's very sticky. So for me, I am going to start working on the bipolar disorder workbook. I've probably had this for 5 years and I've never touched it. So now is the time to work on it. So if you have a workbook like this that you have had for years but you have not touched it, maybe now is the time. Make sure you're in a good headspace to do so, because it's definitely sorry. Welcome in. You don't share. Nobody has to share anything that they don't want to. And we'll just get through it. So I'm gonna find some royalty-free music. I'm gonna try to, and we're just gonna have some chill music in the background, hopefully. Imperfection joinery. Yeah, so we're going to be working on ourselves today. So if you have any workbooks, like personal self-help workbooks, or any self-help books that you'd like to read that you just like really get around to doing, this is a great time to do. I also put a worksheet from therapistaid.com, which is there's tons and tons of stuff that you can check out, and But this one is about coping skills, which I know I'm not great at using when it comes time to deal with find like free music, and I don't know how to anymore. Okay, well, I'll look at that later. Maybe next time we'll have some ambient noise. But yeah, so today I'm going to be working on my bipolar disorder workbook. This is the student's workbook I've ever seen. Not all workbooks are created equal. Hey Lydia, welcome in. So just working on if you have any self-help workbooks or books that you meaning to read or work on. If not, you can look at the pinned image, and that has a workbook, a worksheet that you can either you can download for free. And I've used this web tons of times. It's super safe, and it's about coping skills. So we're just gonna work on ourselves for an hour a week. We've talked about this in a couple lives. Decided just to go for it. So if you want to do that, you can. It'll be mostly quiet, and then maybe towards the end we'll focus on sharing if you want to share anything like that. So if you really like that worksheet, but you're interested in working on a different worksheet, if you just go to therapistaid.com, which is what this link is from, there are tons of worksheets that you can work on. I have a lot of workbooks that I don't get to. Hi, welcome in. So we're going to use this time to take care of ourselves. And if you have any workbooks, worksheets, anything like that, self-help books that you have been putting off reading or doing, this is the time to do it. We're going to meet every week. You're welcome to come whenever you want. And we're just going to work on ourselves. And then in the future, I'll try to get some royalty-free music to do maybe some chill hop in the background, so there's some noise going on. I did pick one worksheet, so I put it in the comments. It's right here. It's from therapistaid.com and is the coping skills log. You can use that. Coping skills are obviously very good to use, and it's better to think ahead about the coping skills we'll use when we're in distress than when we're in times of distress, because it's a lot harder to think when we're in like fight or flight. So if you don't particularly want to do this worksheet, therapistaid.com has a ton of worksheets that are free to download, and it's a safe website, and I've gotten a lot of good stuff off of there. But I'm reading, I tried a couple workbooks, but nothing was really resonating with me, and now I'm reading An Unquiet Mind, which is about bipolar. So hi, welcome in. We're doing like a self-help hour. So if you have any books or workbooks that you've had that you bought to work on yourself and feel better and you haven't used them, I know I have tons. This is a great time to use them. If you want free worksheets, therapistaid.com has a bunch of really great free worksheets that you can download and you can work in a workbook, or you can print them off if you have a printer. The one I put up is a coping skills log that you can do. Hey Samantha, so we're doing our weekly Tranquility Hour where if you have any workbooks, worksheets, self-help books, anything like that that you've been wanting to read, that you have bought, that you've not actually done, which I think a lot of us fall into that category, we can work on that this hour. If you don't have anything, you can go to the link that I posted, which is right down there, and it's also in the comments. um, it's therapistaid.com, and then this one is about coping skills, because I think everyone can use them because life isn't always easy, and it's easier to do it when we're calm than when we are upset. So if you want to work on that, I know that a lot of us talked about doing something like this. So it's a little short notice this first one, but we'll start like a weekly event where we do that and work on ourselves. And we might share at the end if anyone wants to share, but no pressure. Hey, Crystal. So we're doing the, if you've got a workbook or a self-help book that you have been wanting to explore and you bought, but you haven't used because you're like me and you buy something and then you forget about it completely. Um, this is a time to do it. We're about 40 minutes in, so we'll probably do it for maybe like 10 more minutes, and then if we want to share anything, we will. If we don't, we won't. Um, I am reading An Unquiet Mind, which is a book about bipolar disorder by a psychiatrist who has bipolar disorder. So it's very interesting. I tried some other books, but wasn't really feeling those today. And the one that I was really looking for, I could not find, of course. So I'm reading this. It's good so far, but just trying to get through a difficult time. And I know we all talked about potentially putting something like this on the calendar. I just figured I'd go ahead and do it. I know it's Valentine's Day, so if everyone's busy, I totally understand. But I figured this could be a time where we can take care of ourselves, even if that's just like relaxing, reading a book that you bought. That's not self help. It's like fantasy or whatever that you bought, but you haven't really taken the time to read it. This could be time to read it and just kind of treat yourself. So we'll do this for a little bit longer. Hi, welcome in. We're just gonna spend about 10 more minutes doing self help work or just self care, and then we can talk about it or just not. That's cool too. And we'll do this. I'm thinking every Wednesday. If that day doesn't work for you, just let me know and we'll change it. Um, Sounds good. Hi, welcome in. We're gonna spend about 5 more minutes doing like self-help books and worksheets and stuff like that. I posted a worksheet. If you are interested in checking that out, you are welcome to. And Therapist Aid has a lot of different you know, worksheets that are free to download. It's a safe website. I've gotten plenty of stuff from them before. So if you want to check that out, you can. Or if you just want to spend some time doing some self care, light a candle, just anything to relax, like you can do that too. Okay, so we'll call it a day on the work we did. No matter what you did, that's a good opportunity to just take some time for yourself. So I guess we'll talk about my experience a little bit. We started this hour with lighting the candle. We'll end this hour with blowing out the candle, burn a little sage, a little Palo Santo, and that's just a nice, like, cleansing, let's, clear the space type thing. I had a couple workbooks, but I could not find the one that I wanted. The one that I wanted to work on was the Complex Borderline Personality workbook, but I couldn't find where I put it. So I'll look for that next time, next week. Or if Wednesday at 7 Eastern works for you, let me know. If this time doesn't work for you, also let me know. But yeah, so what I ended up doing was reading a book called An Unquiet Mind. This is by Kay Redfield Jameson, and she is a psychiatrist with bipolar disorder. So she's kind of describing her experience. I got this book. It had to be in like 2011. So I have had this book for a little while and have never even really opened it. I had heard about it in a Psych 101 class. We we did only have like a chapter on abnormal psych, um, but this book was, we talked about a couple different mental illnesses, and bipolar was one of them. And the teacher recommended a couple books. So there's this book, and there's also the Bipolar Muse, which I haven't even opened yet. So I tried working on a bipolar disorder workbook, and um, I need to try to get back into this. So here's the bipolar workbook. It's got coffee all over it, so don't judge how dirty it looks. It's just coffee, but it is very sticky. This one is like not really like the vibe I'm going for. It's a little bit like I need something that's a little bit different. And then I have this dialectical behavioral therapy diary. But this isn't about like working through anything. It's just about what skills you've used that day. So I kind of need like DBT like beside it. And then I also have this healing the trauma of abuse. I have this, but I don't think I'm really in the place to go for that right now. And I think that could be potentially very upsetting. Oh, I forgot that I also have this one that I didn't try. The ACT workbook for depression and shame, did not even really look into that, but that probably would have been good to look at. I didn't see that, but yeah, I read a little bit of this, and enjoyed what I read so far. Um, I read the prologue, and then part of chapter one. So the prologue I found a little bit more interesting because we actually got to talk about, or they talked about what some of their symptoms look like, and then chapter one starts their childhood and stuff like that, like a lot of like memoirs do. So I highlighted a couple things that I thought were just interesting for one reason or another. Um, so I so this was talking about like the illness that she's facing, and she said Chinese believe that before you can conquer a beast, you first must make it beautiful. So like you have to find like the value in it and where it it has purpose before you can conquer it. And I was like, that's really well said. And then this one really, I felt kind of on a deep level, not kind of, I really did feel on a deep level. It took me far too long to realize that lost years in relationships cannot be recovered. The damage done to oneself and others cannot always be put right again. and that freedom from the control imposed by medication loses its meaning when the alternatives are death and insanity. When the only alternatives are death and insanity. Really, obviously, liked that one, and then did something. I highlighted three things, but oh, and then just this quote that her dad put on the bracelet when she graduated, and it says nothing is too wonderful to be true, and I really like that. So if anyone wants to talk about what they worked on, if anyone worked on anything while they were in here, or a book you're reading, or what you're listening to, anything like that, this is just, it's mostly meant to be a time where we can take care of ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And then also, if we have workbooks or books that we've been wanting to do, we can take that time and do that as well. Also, you can meditate if you're into that kind of thing. I find that I'm a little bit too jittery and like hyped up on some kind of energy, even when I'm depressed, that it is very, very difficult for me to meditate very often. And also, I'm like highly judgmental of my thoughts, and you're supposed to just kind of like let things flow through. So yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this. I know it was kind of short notice scheduling, but this week was a little challenging for me to figure out a day that worked. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do it today. But we'll meet next Wednesday, and if you want to work on anything, we can. If you're looking for a worksheet and you need some help, I can definitely help look for worksheets. I'll try to when I set because I couldn't, because this was a pre-planned live, I couldn't change the description of it. Actually, yeah, I couldn't, so I couldn't change the description of it. Um, so um, I'll put the link in the description, so it's a little bit easier to just click if you come in later. So I hope you enjoyed this. We're gonna end it by blowing out a candle, signifying the end. I'm just saying, let's be nice to ourselves, and you know, just take things one day at a time. Okay, so I'll talk to you all later. I hope you have a good night. Bye.